In this video, we're taking a look at this, the Roland GO Mixer Pro. What is it? What does it do? What can you connect to it? What can it connect to? And we're going to unbox and do a live demonstration, because when you're live, what could possibly go wrong? This is a smartphone mixer. So as it says here, it is the Roland GO Mixer Pro. It is a 9-input, 2-output mixer for smartphones. It works with iPad, iPhone, PC, Mac, Commodore 64. No, not really, but it works with a lot of stuff. And all the cables that we need are apparently included right here in the box. So this is why I wanted to look at this one today. It seems to be the solution that a lot of folks are looking for. So what we're covering in this video is, if you're watching on the replay, there'll be timestamps down below. We're going to cover what is it, what does it do, what can it connect to, what can you connect to it. We're then going to do the unboxing and the opening up and then the demonstration. So stick around for those. But if you're just here to find out what this is and what it does, that's what we're going to get to in this first section. So I've just got my iPhone and iPad there, but we'll move those out of the shot. They'll come back later because we're going to use those in the live demonstration. But for now, here it is, the Go Mixer. I'm just going to bring my video so I can see what I can see what you're looking at. There it is, the Go Mixer Pro. Now, there are two different versions of this. There's the Go Mixer, and then there's this one, the Go Mixer Pro. The main difference is that this one has an XLR input and is also battery operated. So the Go Mixer, the original one, doesn't have XLR, so you can't use your condenser microphones, and it also doesn't have battery power because it doesn't need to power that condenser. What else does this do? Well, it works with, as I said, iPhone, iPad, and Mac. It allows you to record or stream with high quality audio. You can plug in all of your gear, 9 different inputs, as we said, and then it will output that as a stereo signal into your smartphone, your tablet, your computer. Very, very cool. It also has a loopback feature, so this could be cool for what a lot of folks want to do, which is grab their GarageBand or their other DAW and then loop back the audio and play along or sing along with their tracks using their smartphone. We'll take a bit of a look at that. Now, this isn't going to be a definitive look. I will be returning and doing more with this in coming videos, but I just wanted to take a first look. And yeah, like I say, sometimes it's fun to try things live. Will it work? We're about to find out. Let's just talk about what this does. So what doesn't it do, basically? So it allows you to connect, as you can see there, mics and guitars. We'll come over to the back here. It allows you to connect mics, guitars, keyboards, and mix those sounds together, then output that stereo file. You can use it for audio-only applications, like recording a live show, like straight from the mixer at a gig or directly into this thing. And of course, you can use it for video, which is where this one really comes into its own. It has some other little features like center channel cut for karaoke stuff. Yeah, we might be looking at that, maybe not. And the loopback feature that I was talking about. And you can even use this, as I said, to import from your PC or your PA system or your mixer or your live rig to go straight into this. And as you can see, works with iOS and Android out of the box. What can you connect it to? That's the next section here. I'm just scrolling down. What can it connect to? So this is the cool thing. It does come with the cables included for iOS and Android. So it's got a Lightning, a micro USB, and a USB-C, and it can also connect with a Mac or PC. It doesn't have the cable, but you can just use a standard micro USB to USB cable to connect it to a Mac or PC. So this could kind of be your everything mixer for your laptop, your desktop, your iPhone, your iPad, your Android device, if you wanted it to be. So that's pretty cool in my view. And what can you connect to it? Well, everything. So you can see here in the display here, it's got XLR input with phantom power. It's got stereo TRS inputs for keyboards or synths or guitar processors. So anything that has a stereo signal, you got a 2/4 inch input for that. TRS, balanced input, which is pretty cool and pretty unheard of on a little mixer like this, to be very honest. It's got stereo TRS inputs, so we can plug our iPhone or iPad directly into this and actually use that as an audio source. So if you wanted to play along with some music, or you're playing a gig and you want to plug your phone in so that you can play music between your sets, that's going to be very cool for you there. It's got a mono instrument jack, a high Z jack for your guitars to go into, and it's got two 3.5mm stereo I've already talked about those, the TRS inputs that you can plug into as well. That's enough talk, Pete. Talk is cheap. We want to see this thing, right? So let's jump in and have a look. My yellow pick in the background. Let's jump in and take a look at this one. We'll open up. I know, unboxing, so passe, but it's the best way to find out together what we get in here. And here's the weird thing. I watch my own unboxing videos because I'm like, what actually came in that again? Am I missing something? Like what cable did that use? And I go back to my videos and check it out. So there it is. There's the device itself. Very, very lightweight. This is the first thing I'll say about this. This is a plastic construction, so it is not aluminium or metal. So unlike a lot of the stuff I like the Steinberg interfaces, not that tank-like build quality. But from all the reviews I've read, this is pretty good quality for plastic. So we'll get in there and take a bit of a look. By the way, thank you to Lee, who was the one who gave me the idea to actually pick this one up and review it. These are available. There are links down in the description where you can check them out. When I say they're available, you can see them. They're out of stock at the moment. So right here in June 2020, they are out of stock, but perhaps by the time you're watching this on the replay, these little babies will be back in stock. So let's open up and take a look at this. There it is in all its glory, the Go Mixer Pro. It's got sort of this shiny plastic feel to it and look to it. Move that out of the way. Shiny plastic. We've got the pots here, which are decent feeling. Like I always like to feel the knobs. I always like to make sure that these have they're not super heavy, but they're going to stay in place. They're not going to flick around. So you know those sort of swimmy, floaty knobs that not making it sound better, Pete. But yeah, they're cool. So you've got your master volume in the middle, your 4 channels that you can control there, and then on the side here we've got the instrument input. So this is our stereo. You can either do left for mono. So if you've got like a keyboard that's mono, you can plug it in. You've got a stereo keyboard or a stereo synth. You've got 2 1/4-inch jacks there. On this side, we've got the guitar and the bass input that we can plug in there. Our XLR TRS combo jack here, which you'd be familiar with if you're using audio gear. And then we've got the plug-in mic. That's the one I didn't mention. There does also have an 1/8-inch or a 3.5mm plug-in mic jack, which we'll be testing out because that's cool if you want to use a lavalier mic or a shotgun mic or something like that. There's that phantom power switch for on and off at the bottom. And on the bottom of this device down here, we have the loop back function. So I'll turn that to off because that's going to confuse me if that's on. The monitor out, which is a 3.5mm jack there on the monitor out. Got that center cut function, and then we've got 2 line inputs, so 2 stereo line inputs at the bottom there, which we can use for, again, 1/8-inch, 3.5mm stereo inputs. So plugging in our people always say MP3 players. When was the last time anyone had an MP3 player, really? Let's throw that box down there. We won't need that one. Let's see what else we get in the box here of the mixer. We should have some cables and other bits and pieces. You don't get a manual these days with anything. You just get like quick start guides and warranty instructions. And let's be honest, they usually go over here for later. Here's all the cabling though. This is the important stuff. So the reason that I wanted to check this out is that it appears that this has all the cables in the box for us to do all the things. So what we have here is, in order, we have our lightning to micro USB cable. We have our micro USB to USB-C cable. That's the black to white one. And this all black is, oh no, I got it the wrong way around. That's the USB-C. So that's the USB-C. So we've got micro, USB-C, and lightning, and we can plug those into this. The batteries go into, apparently, this screwy compartment on the side. So we'll talk about power on this one as we go through, but this one has a slot here. Oh, get it together, Pete. It's a beautiful part about live, trying to open this without breaking it. It looked much easier on the demo that Roland did. There we go. Got the battery compartment off. So it's got a compartment for the 4 batteries there. And you might be thinking, this is a bit of a wacky design, right? Like, what's going on with this design? Why has it got this little ledge here? What's all that about? Well, guess what that's about? That's about this. That's about putting your phone there so that you can do your Instagram lives and your Facebook live stories and things, or going like that and performing a high quality video using this as your sound source. And that way you just need this. You don't even need to bring a tripod or a mount for your phone, as long as you can get this at the right height. Otherwise it'll be looking up your nose while you're recording. So that is the basics. That is the setup of this one, the Roland GO Mixer Pro. Now, why don't we actually try hooking this one up, plugging it in, and seeing what it can do. So now that we've shown you everything that's included here, let's get this sucker hooked up. Now I'm going to use my iPad here. This is a lightning-based iPad as opposed to a USB-C iPad. Of course, because we get the USB-C cable as well, we could use this directly with an iPad Pro, and you can use it with your Android tablets, your Android devices, your Android phones. How much does this cost, you may be asking? Well, I don't usually talk price because it can vary in different parts of the world and at different times. I picked it up for about $270. It retails for around $170 at the moment in the US. Your mileage may vary. Check the links in the description for the latest info on that. Now, we won't need these two, so we'll put these safely away. This is our USB micro and USB-C. And what we'll need is the lightning. And I love this because, as you know, if you've ever connected anything to an iPhone or an iPad, you generally need to use a lightning to USB 3 adapter to do that. And then you sometimes also need to ensure that you have power. And this sort of solves for all of those problems because, again, the phantom power is controlled by the 4 batteries that we're about to install in here, and then you just plug it in via your USB to lightning and you're good to go. Now hopefully it doesn't come with batteries included, so Pete's grabbed some, and if I read the box correctly, it requires 4 AAAs. So let's see if we can. This is a bad idea. I should have done this ahead of time because now I've got to work out the alignment of these batteries. Does anyone else really struggle with this? All right, that one looks like it's a spring thing. That's a spring thing. That's a not spring thing. And that's a not spring thing. That's the only way I kind of know. And then I line up the spring things and make sure that they're all in the right spot. So I think that was right. Guess what? We're about to find out. Screw back in the little screw mount dealy. And actually those batteries in there makes it feel a lot more weighty. So it's actually feeling really nice now. It's actually feeling nice and heavy, and that's going to ensure that it doesn't let your phone. So when you set it up like that and we put our phone in and we have that going on, yeah, it's not going to tip, it's not going to go anywhere, and it's at that nice preferred angle. So it's going to be just for a little recording station. I think that's going to be cool. If you're using your phone, you've got all your inputs, you plug it straight in, you're good to go. We'll pop that out of the way while we do this. So let's find our USB. So it's USB micro USB connection. It goes in this end, always upside down. That's why I like USB-C, is you can't put it upside down like you can with these. And then the other end is going to go into our iPad. Oh, there we go. So that's plugged in now. We will flick the battery on, and there you go. Power is on. Now, we are here in GarageBand, so this is the moment of truth. Will this pop up and tell us that we have a device connected? Yay! All right, audio device connected. We're gonna hit cancel. Apparently, we're gonna hit cancel and not connect the audio device and turn monitoring on. Let's try that again. We'll plug it back in. We'll just give it a second test here. It's probably not going to work this second time. There we go. And we'll hit the right button. Boom. There you go. So that is now working. And that's it. Like, how clean is that? I don't know. If you're anything like me and you like a clean looking kind of interface, that's super clean, right? That's that's everything connected there. And now we can start plugging stuff in and plugging it into here. So what I'm going to do actually is, let's turn my iPad around so I can see it for just a moment. I'm going to jump into a song. Let's just choose one at random. Let's choose my song, Imagination, because this is the one I was playing with earlier. So we'll open that one up here because we'll firstly test the playback of this to make sure that's all working, and then we'll start plugging things in and start listening to what it sounds like. So let's grab my 3.5mm. Now, this has, the output that this has is a 3.5mm adapter. So it doesn't have things like a high quality TRS dual outputs like an audio interface would, like my favorite Steinberg UR22C. So if you're in the studio and you're using high quality speakers, you are going to have to go from your 3.5mm jack into something like a 3.5 to 2 TS connection, which is not going to give you perfect sound. It's not going to be balanced sound, but it is still going to work. But because this is a portable device, it's got the headphone jack, it's more about monitoring on the go. But because I want you to be able to hear what is coming out of this thing, I need to plug it in there. I've then got those connected over here on my mixer to a stereo pair of channels here. So I'm going to turn up the stereo pair there. We're going to go to the start of this one. We're going to hit play. We'll turn the volume down. We'll hit play, and then we'll bring this up. And fingers crossed for me that this is actually going to do its thing and play back this audio. All right. So it is playing it back, but is it playing it back just through my microphone here? Is it actually coming out of that jack? Let's just give that another quick test run there. I'm going to turn my microphone down just so I can hear this a little bit better. It is coming through, but the quality of that audio that's coming through is not super good, is it? All right, so we had a little bit of trial and error here just off camera. Those that are here live got to watch, but what we needed to do, I just needed to use a different project file, and I worked out a few interesting things, that the output volume doesn't seem to be controlled by this volume. This seems to only be the volume of the mix that you're sending in. So we'll play around with that in a minute because we're about to connect up a microphone and give it a test run. But just so that you can hear, we'll turn that down. I've loaded up a new project that's actually sounding a bit better, and we're going through our channel here. So let's hit play on that one.
Maybe I don't need to go one more mile so I can keep my promise to.
So there you go. The audio quality output is very good. I was a little worried there. Apparently it was my project that was sounding bad. Right, let's actually connect some stuff up here now and see how we go with actually recording. So instead of being in a project, we're going to open a new project here. We're going to create a new song here in GarageBand and go into our audio recorder here. And let's see how we can actually get this set up. So we don't have monitoring on at the moment, and we have the channels here. In fact, let's just have a look at what our channel selector does here. We'll tap on that. So yes, we've got input 1, input 2, or stereo. So I'm thinking we're probably going to need to use stereo because this is going to push out this overall mix. So as opposed to a 2-channel interface where you've got, mic in one, guitar in another, I'm imagining that stereo is what we're going to need to use with this one, because if it's trying to push it through mono, it might not work if we don't do that. Let's plug in. So now I have a microphone down here. You can just see it off to the side there. This is my Audio-Technica AT2020. All of the gear that I use in this review will be linked down in the description and at studiolivetoday.com/gear. Let's plug in. We've got the phantom power on, so that should be good to go and should be working there. Let's give it a tap. No, nothing happening yet. I'm sure I've missed a step here. Probably turning up. We'll turn all of the input gain down here. Make sure that that is plugged in and that is plugged in. We do have them plugged in to there. And we'll turn monitoring on. And we've got channels 1 and 2 here. Which one is this? Is this microphone here? Is that our main microphone, or is it? No, it's this one. This is the one that needs to come up. We'll turn it up. Are we getting anything? No. You're like, Pete, did you test this at all? No, I didn't, because you saw that. Let's just check for phantom power. Battery is on. Do we have a phantom power switch? We do. Phantom power is, it's on. That's not good. I was hoping that that would be off and that would be the cause of the problem. We'll turn it off and we'll turn it back on again. You know what? No, it wasn't just this, was it? It wasn't just that I didn't have that master volume up. Well, let's go back and have a look. It could be. There's probably people screaming at me in the chat saying, Pete, you didn't have the volume up at all. Let's turn that volume. We turn the volume up and immediately it works fine. So, radio. So we do have this working via our microphone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down this mic that I'm talking into and jump over to this mic and talk over there. One moment, please. Here I am over on this microphone, and you can see here that now that you actually have the output, that's a good thing to learn. The output volume here, your overall output volume, and then the individual track. Now we're getting some noise in there, so I'm thinking that's more that I've got this set up, it's going through another analog connection. How annoying is that? Let's turn down that compressor and that reverb. There we go. So there's a bit of noise that you can hear coming through there. That's more than likely just the fact that I'm going into my mixer and we're going through a whole bunch of analog connections to get this done. We will test this in more detail in the future, but there you go. I've learned a valuable lesson. So there's 2 controls here. There's your individual control for your microphone, and then there's your overall output control. And until you up that output control, nothing's coming through. And you can hear there that I'm clipping fairly quickly and fairly easily with the distortion coming through there. That's okay. That's working, which is a good thing. So we'll come back We'll come back over onto here. Phew, I'm more relieved that it's actually doing something at all and that it was just that thing. So different from an audio interface because you do need to make sure you have that one and the microphone up at the same time. Or this one, the microphone input there, up at the same time. Let's go ahead and do our guitar as well because that's what we wanted to test next. We'll grab a guitar cable. Here's a yellow one. Doesn't go as fast as the red ones, but hopefully it'll do okay. And we'll plug that in. So this is also we'll go into the dedicated guitar jack. So down here, I'm stripping naked my guitar cable. Down here is a dedicated guitar or bass input. So this would be kind of cool because you have your guitar in there, you have your mic in there, and you're good to go. And again, the inputs are always just going to be the same here. They're always going to be inputs 1 and 2 because it's just always going to be the stereo mix out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my guitar over here, grab my guitar and plug in, and let's check out recording a guitar with this sucker. Oy, oy, oy. Where's that yellow pick that I had handy here before? Here it is. So we've plugged in, guitar's in. We'll have the master volume up there. In fact, we'll go to a different track here. Let's add a guitar track so that we can play some guitar. Not guitar. We want an amp sim, don't we? Where's our amplifiers? Oh, I went to Sound Library. It's really hard to do this over your shoulder. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning about live streaming and the joys of having a setup like this. Let's grab a clean guitar amp to start with, shall we? Just our standard clean combo guitar amp here. And we'll plug in. Now, we don't have our volume of our things up yet, so we don't need to freak out. It's not working. We need to come into our plug here and make sure that we have our monitor on, that our input channel, see this is going to be interesting, input's only input 1 or input 2 for guitar because it's expecting it to come out of one or the other. So we'll see if this works. It should be okay just with input 1 because it should send the same signal on both channels via the mono plug there. So that is plugged in, that is set up, monitoring is on. We have our master volume on, and if we turn up, hey! We actually had success. That is very cool. And our guitar's slightly out of tune, but that's okay. Let's just record in a little ditty, shall we? So that we can actually show how this works in the flesh. So we'll make sure our levels are all set right. So you can see we can turn the guitar up and get... So it's going to get a bit too fuzzy there. We'll drop that on down. Let's just record a little bit of something in here and give it a go. I can't really see my levels. That looks about right. Let's play. 1. That sounded terrible. I'm just going to try it again. I know it doesn't matter. It's just a demo, but let's just give this one another go. Oh, two. What was that at the end? Oh, good times all round. Let's just play back this guitar and see if it's come through okay. Interesting. So yeah, I'm getting used to this. Again, if you've used interfaces, I don't have the output. This output does nothing with playback. Playback's coming through through the headphones, but this isn't controlled by any output volume at all. So all your output volume is on your iPhone or iPad, which is, yeah, it'll just take some getting used to, that's all. So that's all cool. Let's plug this microphone back in, shall we? Oh. And just give this a quick test run for recording mic and guitar on here, just to show that we can use this as a multi-channel interface to record here in GarageBand. So we're going to come back to our track view, where there's our guitar. We're going to hit new track. Oh, the light's terrible there, isn't it? Hit new track, grab our microphone. We'll just put whatever the default microphone it's going to put on here is probably something terrible for doing this, but So we've got our microphone plugged in. Again, we can now bring up that volume, which is over here. Hello, check, 1, 2, check, check, check. And all of our levels are not balanced particularly well. But just to show you that we can use this to multi-track, we'll hit record. It should play back that guitar. We should be able to record in a mic part, a vocal part. So I'll turn off this mic, we'll hit record and give this a go. This is the end of the world. Oh, I'm clipping. So yeah, I was clipping really badly into the mixer, as you could hear there. So this is where it's going to be a little bit of a dance, because I'm going to need to basically use the output volume of my iPhone, or my iPad, to actually make sure that the volume coming out of this is not too loud. So let's try that again. We'll go back to the start and we'll hit record. This is the end of the world for all society. We'll stop that. And again, I need to play around with this because balancing the levels is going to require a bit of gain staging. Whoop, I'm still down on that microphone. It's going to require quite a bit of gain staging between the mic and the output to just make sure that everything's set. But the beautiful part is once we settle this, it's kind of going to be a set it and forget it kind of thing. So, we still have our guitar plugged in. Forgot about that. So let's come back here. We can see here that now we have recorded 2 tracks of audio. If we play that back. This is the end of the world for all society. And you can hear we got a little bit of clipping on the vocal there because it went too loud coming out of the mixer. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a balancing act trying to make sure that that's all kept right and dandy. Now, the other things that we can plug in here, as we mentioned, you've got a stereo input there for keyboards or for anything else you want to plug in. One of the cool things, well, not one of, but one of the other things we have is on the bottom here, we can actually plug some line inputs. So we can bring other stereo sounds into this mixer and then record those at the same time, which I think is kind of cool. So I want to give it a little bit of a test run here. I'll put my guitar down because that's I'll unplug and put the guitar down. Turn the guitar mix down. And then I do have an array of cables here. And because of the challenges we've had here today, mostly driven by me, I need to find all the different bits that we need here now. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab a 3.5mm cable. Now, because Apple is Apple, we need to plug in our dongle-doo. Yes, that's the official name for it here in Australia. We just put E and do at the end of things. And we're going to plug this into our iPhone. Plug it into our iPhone. And then we're going to plug this into one of our jacks down the bottom here. So we're going to put it into this one, the first jack here, which is a stereo TRS. So you can see here we're starting to sort of bring things together here. This is why I'm excited to try this with live streaming, and as a bit of a...
I wasn't the only one who felt the way I did about...
a bit of a mobile rig. That's me playing an audiobook. So it's working, right? It's already working. So what I want to do here is just test this out, that if I came here and let's just go into my GarageBand on this one, what I'm thinking is we can play back tracks from here and then play along with them using this GarageBand and bring it all together and record it all together at once, which is a pretty cool concept, I reckon. Let's just find a track that we have in here. We'll go back to my track imagination that we were playing with before and kind of breaking things with. There we go. So if I hit play on this one and bring up the volume.
Sometimes I sit around and wonder how it's like that here if I'm going under. All the complications of my life, all the times when I couldn't reach the knife, in my back to the days when I was a little kid. Always
worry about the things I never did. Always think about the next big problem, even when there's someone else that's on the hook. So that's pretty cool. So what we've got here is we've got the audio coming from this, and this could be playing back Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, or your own audio. That's going out here, coming into this stereo channel. Now, you'll notice here that we don't have any mixer knobs for this. So the challenge here is that, well, again, we need to use the volume on this. So if we want the volume to go down, we want to do some fading down of this, we need to use this. So if we're playing back, like that, play, darn you.
Ever wonder what it's like to be an overthinker? Tinker?
Welcome back to blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's not perfect in that because you've only got control over the things you plug into the other 4 jacks. So your microphone, your mic combo jack, your guitar jack, and your stereo TRS jack, and then the overall master volume. So yeah, if you wanted to sort of fade back in and then come back in on your mic after a sort of a set where you're playing some music and you're going to go back to recording again, it might be a little bit clunkier than you'd like. But again, we've got 2 of those in here. Now, the one thing I do want to test out is it's got this karaoke function, which is supposed to. Now, I'm in GarageBand, so I could just remove these vocals by muting them, right? But it does have a function here for a karaoke function, which is supposedly going to cancel out the center channel and try and give us an instrumental mix. So I don't know about you, but I will probably never use this, but I want to try it anyway. So let's turn on that center cancel for this input, and we'll turn up the volume again. Tinker with all my little thoughts. Let's just listen. So it kind of sounds like, yeah, there's a ghost of me still singing there, but it is cutting out a lot of that center channel, which is interesting. So let's, I'll play it and I'll turn off the center channel and we'll hear the difference in the vocals. So here it is with the center channel cancel on. Let's turn it off.
Round and round and round in my head. Don't always believe the things they...
And that's pretty cool because it keeps the backing vocals in, because the backing vocals are panned left and right, yeah? Anyway, that's a pretty cool function. And again, the versatility of having the ability to anything that goes out via a 3.5mm jack, so you can use adapters to plug. What I'm thinking with this sort of thing is that my mixer here, so because this is going to be tested with live streaming soon here on the channel, what I want to do is see if I can live stream via my PC rig and then send the outputs from my mixer into this, and then just have that as the stereo feed going into my iPhone, and then I can go on Instagram Live and Facebook Live and other things at the same time from my phone with a slightly different angle, just using my phone. So that's something that we're going to experiment with there a little bit. Let's come back over to what we were testing with. There's one more thing I wanted to test with this, and that is using the 3.5mm mic input. Now, just so I'm not tangled up here, I'm going to unplug a lot of this stuff. So we're going to unplug everything except for what we need to do this next test. And what I have here, this is, I don't use this often, but it's my go-to lavalier microphone. It's the Audio Technica AT3350, I want to say. Is that what you are? Yeah, 3350 it says. No, 3350. So it looks like this. Lavalier microphone, super long cable here so that you can get really far away from it. And it comes with a TRS to TRRS adapter, but we won't need that, or we shouldn't, because this input over here should be, where is it? Got to find it now. Over this side? Yeah, there it is. Plug-in mic. So this one is a 3.5mm mic plug-in. So we're going to plug in our mic into the plug-in mic. And let's just see if we can get this happening. So we're just going to create a new microphone track here. New voice. Oh, that light reflection is terrible, isn't it? We're monitoring there. We are. So we've got the we've got the actual output of this up this time. So we're actually going to hear it, and it's coming through our channel there. This one should be on this mic here. So we'll turn it on. So it's a little condenser mic. These things are actually pretty cool. We'll turn it on, and let's just see if we turn this up. Hello. Yes, that is cool. So let's turn down this mic and talk to you through this one. So this is still coming through. This is through the lavalier microphone. So you can see there. So I could clip this to my, well, I won't do it now, but I could clip this to me and then set my gain, and it will all come through. Now again, we're getting quite a bit of noise through here because it's going through so many different things, but you can see that we're getting input here via this, and this would be cool that if you wanted to be doing live streaming, say you wanted to have a microphone set up like this one to do your actual audio for your vocals, but then you wanted like a talkback mic, but for between sets that you could just have pinned to you, you could literally have this plugged in as well as an XLR microphone and use both of those at the same time. So that could be kind of a cool thing. And again, you're hearing that hiss because A, I've got all my stuff on around me, and B, it's going through analog gear. We will test the quality in actual proper settings in the near future. But yeah, there you go. That's pretty cool. So the one thing I'm not going to test in this video, so I'll jump back to the other mic. The one thing I'm not going to test in this video is this connection. So this is a stereo TRS connection. So this is where we could plug in the keyboards, synths, or any other stereo output. In fact, this would be a good one to use instead of the 3.5mm jack. I should use that one for plugging in my mixer, because that will give us high quality TRS to TRS stereo output into this, and then this plugs via USB into our phone or tablet, and then we should be all good to go. So there you go. That is the Roland GO Mixer Pro. Was this the greatest advertisement in the world for it? Well, probably not. But the good thing is that everything did work eventually, once I worked out the few little quirks that we had with this thing, which is that we need to make sure that that master volume is up at all times, because as soon as that volume is down, doesn't matter what we turn up. That is not our output volume. That is our input gain volume. And that's a weird thing to get your head around if you've used a lot of audio interfaces and devices before, because you're used to that being your output as well as input right on here. So that's the one thing to remember there. And then you can adjust your different devices. Obviously, we only connected it to an iPad today, but it can go into your iPhone, your Android device, your Mac, your PC, and I will be returning in future videos to actually check those out. So if you're not already subscribed here on Studio Live today, do that, because I will be back to take a look at this one in more detail in the future. This was just our first look at the Roland GO Mixer Pro. There's more information about this one down in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you next time.